Good afternoon. It's Dr. Denny over at Four Paws at Fulshire Veterinary Clinic, and Maddie and I are going to be talking a little bit more about, what to do when you bring home your first puppy.
Dr. Denny, what is the most important thing to know about raising a puppy?
So, it is a lifetime commitment, okay? These are not accessories to your life. These are members of the family in most cases, and I would hope in all cases. But this is responsibility. So I would say if you are at a point in your life to take on care of another living being, then that's the right choice for you. If your life is in flux and you are moving every year, you are going to classes, you're never home, you don't have any support system to help, like let the puppy out when you're at work, so the puppy's in a cage for 8 hours a day. I probably wouldn't recommend getting a puppy at this exact moment. You'd be better off getting a kitten.
What should I consider before adopting or buying a puppy?
So I think considering your lifestyle, okay, are you in an apartment or are you in a house? Do you have a yard? Do you not have a yard? That's going to dictate kind of how big of a dog do you want to get. Do you want, if you have an apartment, we probably want to have a small dog because you're going up and down stairs and they don't have their own yard. If you have a bigger yard, then you can have a bigger dog. If you are very active and you're looking for a dog who'll go running with you, then we need a bigger dog, right? We need like a lab or, like a Ridgeback or Golden Retriever, or a Shepherd. So we want a dog that can keep up with your lifestyle. So you have to factor these things in as well as budget. We need to remember that the costs don't just stop right when you've purchased a puppy or picked up a puppy from a shelter, right? You pay for your puppy or you pay the shelter fee, but then we need to be able to afford vaccinations. Don't go spend $6,000 on a French bulldog and then not be able to afford, normal vaccines for this puppy. Make sure that you're taking into account budget. Make sure that it fits in with your life. Instead of spending 6 grand on a purebred dog, maybe go to the shelter and spend $100 so we have enough money to make sure that this puppy is getting dewormed, getting vaccinated, getting heartworm and flea prevention. We really need to be cognizant of that. I feel like, especially with some of our, my generation and some younger generations, we don't factor that in always. We're so excited about the fact that we're introducing this new family member that when it comes time for the first vet visit and we're like, I just spent, however many thousand or hundreds of dollars on this puppy. And now you're telling me that I need to come in every 4 weeks for vaccines. So that's an office visit. That's your vaccines. You're telling me that I have to get my dog checked for worms. And then what if my dog has an ear infection or intestinal parasites? These costs add up. So we need to be prepared for that. It's a lifetime commitment and it's a financial commitment too. So making sure that your life is set up to take on this commitment, because we don't want to be, we don't want people adopting dogs that when you start having a family, like if you decide to have a baby and all of a sudden the cost of the pet is too much and now we have to rehome or, give the dog up.
What should I look for in a puppy?
So when you go to pick out your puppy, you want to be picking out a puppy that is confident. Okay. We want one that is exploring its environment, is coming up to you. We want a confident puppy, a puppy that is engaged in its surroundings. And you're going to need to spend some time. I would always recommend that you go 2 or 3 times if your breeder will allow you over 3 weeks to get to know the litter and to be able to pick the litter. But you generally want to have an outgoing puppy who wants to be around people. And that's the puppy that's coming up to you. That's the puppy that is wagging its tail and reacting to you. And not every puppy is going to be a fit for everybody, right? So when I pick out a puppy, for me personally, I want them engaging with me. I want to sit down and pat on the floor and I want them pooling over, and I want the kisses and I want the tail wags and I want I'm not going to pick the puppy that's cowering in the corner that it's terrified, because that puppy is going to be really shy and is going to need a lot more socialization, a lot more work to build on the confidence. So I want a confident puppy. So that's what I would look for. You also want one that, is obviously not sick. So we want a very vivacious puppy.
How can I puppy proof my house?
So puppies learn the world through their mouths. So we need to pick up all toys. You need nothing that is out that they can chew on. Baby gate off everything, no cords, no nothing. They will chew on anything. So you want to have a lot of chew toys. You want them under supervision because they sometimes make poor life decisions and they will swallow things. And then when they swallow things they shouldn't, like toys, they can get stuck in their intestines and cause a blockage. And that's a whole other can of worms.
Is it possible to care for a puppy while working full time?
Absolutely. You just have to have help or have a job that's going to be flexible enough where you can run home over lunch or see if a neighbor can come let your puppy out. I know right now my husband and I both work full time. I'm blessed that some days I can bring my dog, like we have 3 dogs, and I can bring mine to work because she's little. But my other 2, we have a dog walker that comes, 2 or 3 times a day to take our dogs on a walk, potty breaks, get out of the house. But don't be afraid to utilize your resources. If you live in an apartment complex, there is going to be someone that works for home that would not mind making $5 or $10 to come, let your puppy out 3 or 4 times a day.
How long can a puppy be left alone?
So it really depends on how old they are. I think a good rule of thumb is, however many weeks old they are is how long they can hold it. So if it's like a 4-week-old puppy, we don't want to go more than a few hours. If we're like a 10-week-old puppy, hopefully we'll be able to hold it overnight. But a good rule of thumb is no more than 3 or 4 hours until they're at least 10 to 13 weeks of age. All right, guys, I hope this helped answer any questions that you might have. If you do have further questions, please feel free to give us a call over here at Four Plaza Fulshear.